Saturday, I was sitting at my daughter's basketball game, and their elementary school kids playing basketball. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a learning experience for a lot of these kids. They're just now picking up basketballs. They're just now deciding that this is something that they're interested in trying. And I guess what really triggered me was nobody really thinks about the amount of pressure we're putting on our kids to perform, be it in school, in sports, in life in general, and especially our black and brown kids. The father behind me, black man, his daughter was mixed, and I can't even tell you that I knew which one his daughter was in the beginning. But to hear him say, "I'm not coming to her game again," it triggered me. And I had to think about, why couldn't I stay present in the moment? And so what I thought about was, I remember being a little girl on the field, on the court, in the parade, and there was no support. There was nobody cheering me on. There was nobody saying, "You did a good job." There was nobody with a pat on the back or words of encouragement. And here this dad was in the stands with me, criticizing what his daughter was doing. Now, why you ain't coaching? Why aren't you giving her the skills and the training that's necessary for her to know what to do while she's out there? Instead, you up in the stands with me and the other parents. I try not to put a lot of pressure on my kids because, for one, I know the weight that my opinion carries. And if you see these kids, they're always looking up in the stands waiting on our approval or our disappointments. That's heavy, real heavy. And that's something that our kids should not have to carry. But 2022 is a very competitive time. Like, we want the best kids, we want the biggest, we want the brightest, we want the best of the best. And when they fail to meet our expectations or the bar that we've set so high, have we failed? Are we failing them? I try not to complain if I know I'm sitting in the stands. But even if I'm out with my daughter and we're shooting the ball and I'm trying to get her to learn the form to shoot, because none of these kids really want to shoot the ball. They just want to, nobody really wants the responsibility of shooting the ball and missing. So there's some fundamentals that need to be taught, and they're supposed to be having fun. So to hear this dad sitting in the stands with me saying, "I'm not going to come if this is how she's going to play." Well, how can she get better? What can you do to help her get to the level you want her to be if you complaining from the stands? But not only are you complaining from the stands, but you just said you're not coming back. So how devastating is that for a kid to know your dad at home could be at your game, but he's not because you're not good enough? What kind of examples are we setting to these kids, our kids, that if they aren't LeBron James, Kobe, Michael, Kyrie, if they're not at this level, then they're not good enough? Well, baby, they just got the ball. Give them time. And the reason why I can say this is because I'm speaking from experience. Remember, I was triggered. And I understand what it's like to be pressured to perform. Like, even if you don't think you're putting pressure on the kids, a lot of times, and I didn't realize this until after I had kids, with our black girls, we tell them you have to be 2 times faster, 2 times stronger, 2 times smarter, 2 times better than your peers of the opposite race, or you won't even be counted. That's heavy. because that means I have to study 2 times harder. I have to run. I have to practice. I have to do all these things when they are already ahead of me. So I understand that I was born black, which left me behind, or it left me marked or targeted. Not only are our kids being pressured to perform well and to be the smartest and be the brightest and go to college and be the first kid, well, in my generation, be the first kid to graduate in the family with your masters and your doctors and all of this, and then you done stacked up all these bills, loans, and you don't get a job in that field. That's heavy. That's pressure. And so then you start to think about all the times that you studied more, or that you made sure that you were 2 times faster, but you didn't get into the school that you wanted. Or because her dad is the coach, she got more playing time, which means the scouters and the recruiters saw her more than they saw me. That's pressure. I'm going to beg and I'm going to plead that we can find a way to support our kids in the way that other races do. And not to say that they don't get the same pressure, because they do. I remember my oldest daughter was playing softball, and she played softball from the time she was 3 years old. And she was playing in high school, and she was the only one on the team at the time to hit it out and make a home run. And the first couple of home runs she hit, I missed those. I had another kid at home. But anyway, her dad had put a lot into her for her to get to that level. He bought the best bats. He paid for extra training. She went to hitting lessons. She went to batting cages. Like, he had invested a lot into her. For you to see one home run, what you don't see is the late nights and the early mornings and the practice that she had to put into that. She hits it over. Of course, everybody is cheering. They're excited. Congratulations, go Micaiah, this, that, and third. You know, and there was even an extra incentive from her dad. For every home run you hit, I'll give you $100, whatever. I'm not doing that one. So when she gets up to bat, every time the parents are, Micaiah, hit it over again. Micaiah, hit it over again. And the pressure, I could see it from the stands. And all of the pressure sometimes would amount to striking out. And when she struck out, she would put her head down and she would kind of drag herself in the dugout. As her mother, and as a black mother and a black daughter, I walked over to the fence and I said, listen, you got to tone out what the fuck they're saying and play your own game, because their kids are not hitting it out. And then they put all the pressure on you. And then when you strike out, you feel like you let the whole team down. So I want you to tune out everything that's being said in the stands, everything that's being said in the dugout. This is your world. Do what you do. Fuck what they saying, because it's not them out there, and their kids isn't getting the same kind of pressure you're getting, because they know their kids ain't hitting it out there, but they want you to hit it out there. And when you can't, you're the only one that's still holding that pressure. Heavy is the head. Don't put that kind of pressure on my children. Don't put that kind of pressure on your children. Don't put that kind of pressure on yourself, because I'm going to go as far as to say is their performance out there, good or bad, reflects you. And it shouldn't, and it should, but let them be in their own worlds. I see a lot of people playing ball through their kid. You had your shot. Sit up in them stands. Come up here with me. Let's get some popcorn. Chill out. And let them kids play and do what they doing. Having fun. My daughter said she quit because it wasn't fun for her anymore. Devastating for us. Devastating. But I understood her, because I've been a little black girl and there was too much pressure. I didn't have all of the things that she had for softball. I played one game. The ball was coming towards my face and I backed up. I hadn't had the kind of training that I could be 100% sure that I would catch that ball and it wouldn't hit me in the face. So I understand pressure. And so I try not to apply any pressure. I just want you to have fun. And when you get to the point it's not fun anymore, then let's walk away. But nothing's worse than seeing your kid cry coming off of the court or off of the field or in the dugout. And see, when you make my child cry, I feel like I need to make you cry. And then that turns into us fighting in the stands. And nobody wants that. So if you didn't make it, that's okay. If the kids don't make it, that's okay too. Because you have a lot of people at the top that didn't even go to college. You have a lot of people doing things that they never thought they would be doing at the bottom. Like everybody, there's something for everybody. And then there's something that we all cannot do. I can't get out there with a football. I can't go out there with a basketball and just know that I'm going to do it. So let the kids be a kid, and maybe you should join some type of adult league or something. But as a daughter, it triggered me because it's the way you feel about your daddy. And your daddy being disappointed in you, that's a different kind of pressure. So my advice to dads everywhere, ease up. Please ease up.